Yeah.
Let me show you my absolutely ginormous book bag. Yeah, we got fucking dirty ass water. That's After Ubering to our place in San Juan, we literally tried for so long but could not figure out how to unlock the gate to our Airbnb. Eventually we did make it into the house, but the place was low-key in a sketchy area and had all of these dogs that would bark their heads off if we even walked remotely in their vicinity. Overall though, the place was really good value and we were only here for one night, so I'd say it worked out pretty well. The next morning, we were all pretty tired since we got back at 3 a.m. the night before. I didn't get any footage of this, but at the club, there was this mafia leader looking dude with a huge ass snake wrapped around his neck, just standing in the middle of the dance floor. And everyone else was acting like this was completely normal behavior, but I literally sprinted out the door as fast as I could. We took the rest of the day to explore the town of Old San Juan, mostly doing a lot of window shopping, soaking in all of the sun, and pretty much just being on full tourist mode for the day. We arrived at the cruise port and checked in our luggage, but we were all starving, so we made a beeline for the buffet. The buffet food was honestly so delicious and had such a wide variety of dishes to choose from. Although this was only our first of 2 dinners that day, since we had an actual reservation at their main dining room an hour after we ate at the buffet. Honestly, no complaints here though, because the main dining room food was also bomb. This was still in a phase of the trip where we thought we could only order 1 appetizer, 1 entree, and 1 dessert each. But you'll see later on in the video that once we learned you could order more than 1 of each, all hell broke loose for our waiter. I think our plan today is just to hit a couple of beaches, mainly the one that has the airport overlook. So basically you get to see all the planes landing and going while laying on the beach. I think we also might go on a hike, but we'll see about that. We have a nutritious balanced breakfast with cantaloupe, sausage, and 2 boiled eggs, and chocolate milk. We took a taxi to Maho Beach and basically just laid in the sand and played in the water all day. The planes there were definitely the star of the show, but they weren't really cooperating in the background of our photos, so I'd say they could have done better. Back on the cruise, some of us did this thing called the flow rider, where you basically try to stand and balance on the board, but as you can see, we got absolutely obliterated by the waves. At night, we went to a silent disco, which actually turned out to be one of my favorite activities on the cruise. We decided to book a tour for St. Lucia since we had a lot of time to spend on the island. We drove around the island for a while before stopping to try some delicious local homemade food. I think bananas are a focus in the local cuisine, so we got to try all different types of banana products like banana ketchup and banana mustard, which I surprisingly enjoyed. Then we hopped on a short boat ride to go to this absolutely stunning snorkeling location that was sort of tucked away from the main roads. I would say the highlight of the day though was definitely the mud bath, where we lathered ourselves in black mud before bathing in steaming hot volcano water. They said that the minerals in the mud were supposed to rejuvenate your skin, which I was a little skeptical of at first, but my skin did feel really soft afterwards. However, we did start to notice that we had these weird red bumps start popping up all over our bodies from when we went snorkeling. I think a lot of us were getting stung by some mysterious item, and we weren't sure what it was. At first we thought it was the algae. The locals were saying that it was actually sea ants, which I didn't even know was a thing. This day was a super short day since we only had a few hours on the island of Grenada. We took a water taxi to the beach, and some of us did some couch surfing, but most of us just hung out by the water. It was really nice to have some time to just relax and lay out in the sun. I think for the rest of the day, we're probably just gonna relax. I might go play some volleyball and do some rock climbing, but other than that, we're probably just gonna get ready for dinner, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, you got it. Woo! Nice.
On the island of Curaçao, we were feeling bold and decided to rent out an absolutely ridiculous mode of transportation, which required 6 people to be biking at the same time on the same bike. And to give you some perspective, this monstrosity was not fast by any means, and because we were biking on the main road, we had to stop every 3 minutes to let cars pass us. So long story short, it took us around 1.5 hours to bike all the way to the beach. On the way back from the beach, we were feeling confident since we managed to get the bike there already, so how hard can it be to get it back? Turns out very hard because one of the chains on the bike snapped a few minutes after we started pedaling. But we still had to get the thing back somehow, so 3 of us used the other side of the bike that still had the chain intact while the other people had to walk. Our last island of the cruise is Aruba, which I was actually the most excited about because this is the only one that I heard of before going on the trip. We had lots of time in Aruba, so we booked a safari jeep tour that was essentially the super rocky and super bumpy ride throughout the island. We made a couple of pit stops, which included this bat cave and this little pond that had those fishies that normally you see in spas and eat the dead skin off your feet. This woman literally had 30 fish on her feet at one point, which I was a little freaked out by. Back on the cruise, we had a super delicious last dinner in the main dining room. I realized I didn't have that much footage of all of the multiple entree dinners that we had throughout the week, but trust me, we ate our money's worth.
Yeah.
Today is our last day on the cruise and it's also Asha's birthday, so we celebrated last night by going out to this like event that they were having on the ship, but basically there was nobody on the dance floor and it was pretty awkward. So we ended up leaving after a little bit, but in general it was a really fun time, and our housekeeper also decorated our room, which is so sweet. Like you can see the little decorations in the back. Honestly, I think the service that we've had on this cruise ship has been some of the best that I've ever had in my life. I think for the rest of the day we're just going to have dinner and probably go to the silent disco event that they're having, since the last silent disco we went to was really fun and hopefully there'll be a lot of people there. Overall, this trip has been incredible. It was honestly much better than my expectations for a cruise ship. I definitely had my doubts in terms of the things that we were able to do and the food quality, etc. But everything has generally been really good and exceeded my expectations. Thank you so much for coming along on the journey with us, and I really hope you enjoyed the video.